Right, good morning. Moving on with this Aria Pro 2 Dragon Strat guitar. I've stripped it this morning and I'm going to explain a couple of things and how I like to do things here at Fret Friend Christian Guitars. When you come in for a complete setup, it's what you get. You get your guitar stripped, pulled apart, and rebuilt from the bottom up. Blah 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 blah. So what you get in a full, it's the best way to do it. You get everything done that way, including your frets all checked, leveled, your nut cut, blah blah blah. Your electrics all checked, all done. Switch cleaning there where need be, do a bit of soldering where need be, set all your pick up levels, blah blah blah. So you know, complete setup is exactly what it is. It's a complete setup. It's worth every penny, whatever you pay. I think guitar techs, luthiers, whatever, they're absolutely worth their salt. You know, it's up to you what price you want to pay. Some are cheaper than others. You know, there can be a bit of difference here and there. You'll find a level, you'll find the right one if you're earnestly looking for you know, the right job. So anyway, let's move on with Aria Pro 2. Got it stripped this morning, knowing that you know, I've got to route the body, for instance, for one, to get the bridge in the right position. It's 5mm too much the wrong way, so let's work on that for now. And the problem being was this: it's a replacement bridge, so it doesn't quite fit and go back enough to get your intonation set right. If you look where the holes had been put, they'd been put the wrong side of where the original bridge went. You can't do that. You can't put them holes forward of where the bridge is supposed to sit. So the intonation's never been right on this guitar. Now, look at the size of that hole there, now it's been routed. Absolutely terrible job. But worse, and I'm not honest, well, you've probably seen it now already. I took the scratch plate off, and I couldn't believe what I saw underneath. Look what's been done to this guitar. Look at that, it's been done with a chisel by a blind man. And here, absolutely disgraceful. Why would you take something as beautiful as this and new and do that to it? If you're going to put pickups in, if you're going to do any modifications to a guitar, do it right. This guitar could have been worth something. You know, I've seen them on eBay for $1,000. Well, I don't know what they sold for, but that's neither here nor there. But it's a beautiful looking guitar and quite a rare piece, and any value that was in it, that's taking a big chunk out on it. I'm not even going to attempt to tie the R up. I'm not touching it, because all I've got to do is do the bridge. It's all I'm being paid for. So really disappointing there. And the rout here at the back, terrible shape. But how are we going to fix this? Well, I'll put a piece of tape on there to show where the rout needs to be so I can fit the bridge. Now luckily this guitar has got a top. The top is a different wood to the underneath. So it's got a lip under there, which is, I'm going to route the actual lip where my finger is here, look. That's the one I'm going to route out. There. So to do that, how do we do it? Well, we don't do it how this has been done. What we do is, we go make a template, which I've already done, I've already measured and I've already, not cut yet, but we'll make a template of the size of the hole we need to make, which is going to be there. And once that's all done, I'm going to drill inside of here, and I'll finish it off with a file or a couple of files, and I'll make that shape inside. And what we do is we take the template and we clamp it to the body of the guitar, and that then gives me a guideline for the router bit to follow, because the router bit's got a collar, and the collar runs around the edge of the wood, runs inside the template, and the cutter cuts the wood. So that's what we're going to do. So these things, you know, it's not too many to fear making one of these. This is what we're charging for as well. So when you're paying a few quid for a bit of routing and that done, don't think someone's just going with a router and cutting a hole, because there's a lot more to it than that. Anyway, moving on. Router I'm using is my new one. I've only used it once. Trent T4, beautiful router. I was going to go for the Bosch one, which is a standard among luthiers, but they use this one as well, and this was a little bit cheaper and I could afford it at the time. If I want to move on to the Bosch later, I can do that. So that's where we're at this morning. Little surprise with the pickups. I thought there might be DiMarzios, because your Japanese builders in the 70s and early 80s, your Tokais, your Hondas, your Arias and that, came with DiMarzio pickups, and I took the back off, and lo and behold, There you go, some DiMarzio's in there. I doubt they came stock, actually, thinking about it now, so I can take that all back. But they're DiMarzio's anyway. DiMarzio's were used, especially on Hondos and stuff like that from the 70s, 80s. So we know they're going to sound good. Scratch plate is okay, you know. So that's it. So what we're going to do, my job is to get this guitar playing right. With the bridge set where it was never going to play right. That has never intoned correctly since this bridge was installed, incorrectly installed. So 35 year, whatever. That guitar's never tuned in right since that bridge was changed. And I was told that bridge, the bloke, they only got this guitar in the 70s. So this guitar has never played right for 35, 40 years. What else I've got to do is all these holes, the old tremolo holes where I took out the trem posts. I'm going to re-drill them to 6mm and I'm going to get some glue in there and we'll get some dowel in there. Also the old tremolo holes here, from the original tremolo, the 6 screw type of here, which I never liked anyway. We'll fill them in. Matching the wood up, I've got no brown stain to match the wood up. If I've got a felt tip I'll probably do that, otherwise I'm just going to leave it. You know, hopefully we'll find some stain and we'll get it all sorted out. But it's about getting these holes plugged in, getting this all smooth again, giving us something solid to drill into, and I'm going to drill, these holes are going to come back 5mm with centres. So we're going to bring them back there, and then we can get the intonation set right. When it comes to the bridge itself, I don't know, you can see there are screws, they're not screws, well the screws are rusty anyway, but the springs are really, really rusty. Now, I've got a load somewhere. I've got a load of new spring. I went and bought a load from China a couple of years ago, and it's all in stock, new springs. I've got loads of this, I've got a length of this, so I'll use some of that. We'll get some new springs in there. The screws are absolutely fine. One screw is actually in there, snapped in half, and it's buried inside the saddle. I can't get that out, there's no way, so I'm going to have to leave it as it is. But we'll find a place where it intones correctly and it adjusts fine, and that's going to be it. So we'll get it all working, we'll get it all bang on. So that's going to be it today. I'm going to blob on with the work. It's about, what time is it? It's quarter 9 in the morning. So I'm going to crack on with this now. I'm going to get that template cut and built, get it clamped on, get it routed, get some gluing done. And while all that's drying out and everything, I'll get on to polishing the frets, checking all these tuners, getting all the cut strings off there, check all the tuners are alright, do some other jobs. I'll clean up the, I'm not going to clean up the wiring's not brilliant, it's just blobbed on there, but it all works. So if it works, all I'm going to do is I'm going to replace these two, the input jack wires. I'm going to use a braided cloth wire, which I buy, which I use the Gibson Fender type gear, proper gear, get some of that in there, get that tidied up, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to come back to you. I'll come back when I'm either ready to assemble the guitar or I've assembled the guitar. So till then, be good. Right, good afternoon. This is back on the Aria Pro 2, the Dragon Strat. Now, I was going to get the guitar more or less ready for finishing, and I was going to do this part of the video, add it to that last bit, and I was just going to make it 2 videos long. But there's been quite a few developments on this guitar, and there's been quite a lot of work gone into it. So what I decided to do is give you an update of what I've had to do, quite a few things. And I'm going to make this a 3-parter now. This is obviously the second part of part 2, it will be glued onto the first part of part 2. And I'm going to make it a 3-parter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an update. Now, I've put the neck back on, that didn't go, not really when we were any problems, it's just I had to do a little bit of work on the neck because the screw holes in the neck itself had stripped, so I've had to pack some wood in the screw holes to give me something to bite to on these thingies. So we've had to build up the neck inside there, so we've done that. Now the main part of the job was to move, remember, move these bridge pins. They were too far forward, they were here. And what I've done is I've filled in with dowel, which I've put away somewhere. You don't see dowel, you know what dowel is. So I've filled the old ones in, here and here. I've also filled in all these, the original 6 there. Now they might not look it, but that's all absolutely flat. It's been sanded flat. The reason they're dark inside is I finish off with super glue in the top, and super glue darkens the wood. I use wood, not wood filings, but I use sawdust in there. I use some of the old rosewood. I've got a big bag of rosewood sawdust I took off a when I worked on a Rickenbacker, 1964 Rickenbacker last year. So you can see I've moved those pins about 5mm back. That is going to enable the bridge to sit in the correct position. Now, like I say, the neck's head work, because these holes were stripped inside the neck part, so we've had to pack some gearmans in there to give us something to bite to, all glued in, all tight. I've also had to work on this. Now, might not look any different to you here, but this, I've routed this here, and I've coloured it in there to match it all, so it's all black. I routed this, but this was only as wide as this. I've pulled it back 5mm, the reason being to fit in the bridge. Now the bridge, when I got this guitar, was sat there completely in the wrong place. It needed to be 5mm back, so I've moved these back, so there you go. So now you see the bridge is in exactly the right position. Also, you'll notice on the bridge I've put new springs on there. The old springs were all black and khaki and all rusty, so I've got some spring in stock, so I've put new springs on there as well. So now the bridge is in exactly the right position. It still works, it still goes up and down, still uses a tremolo. It's going to be absolutely fine. So the guitar, what I really want to do is, where this is sanded over, to take the finish away. So I'm waiting for, I've bought a furniture finishing kit for touching up furniture, you know, marks in furniture, and it's perfectly good for guitars. It gives you 6 different coloured brown pens and 6 different coloured wax crayons, which can melt the wax in, polish it all up and get the colour right. Now that's on its way, it's not here yet, it's going to be in a day or two, so we want to get that all matched up. I've also got some stain I could try on there, but that's not here yet either. So there you go. Like I say, what I had to do was I had to route the back. I didn't route the back, but the plugs I put in, I had to drill right through. I had to drill 2 holes. I had to drill a 4mm for the thread of the post itself and 6mm in top to take the bush in. So I think you'll agree, if you can see from there, it's an absolutely beautiful job. Them pins are absolutely perfectly straight. We're screwing up and down. The wood is flat. So it's going to be a brilliant job. So all we need to do now is, I'm going to do a mock-up today. I'm going to put the guitar together, do a bit of rewiring in there. I'm just going to show you a quick mock-up while I've got the guitar out, and I'm going to save the main, the actual finishing video. I'm going to do an extra video after this one. I'm going to make it 3-parter now rather than a 2-parter, just to show though the difference of where the bridge is now. Before, that bridge was right up to the scratch plate, and now you see there's a 5mm gap. That is going to give me enough adjustment on these saddles to get the intonation right. So that was the main job. Now, I've spent a lot of time on this, a lot more than I'm charging for. I just want to make the owner aware of that, because I'm keeping the price I quoted him the same, because there's a new customer, and I always give me new customers a little bit extra for nothing. So there you go. What I've got to do on this guitar now, I've got to adjust the string trees, because they need tightening down just a little bit. They're not in brilliant, they're alright. The neck's just about done. I've got to polish the frets. What I'm going to do today, like I said, is I need to solder, put some more wires on here. I'm going to remove these 2 wires for the input jack, and I'm going to, because it's crappy little, I don't use plastic wire anymore, I use cloth wire. So I'm going to remove these 2, put some good cloth wire on there, thread it right through, get it on the 3-way, not on the 3-way, on the input jack, with some nice cloth wire in there, same colour. We'll get it all done up, all nice, and I'll get it, I'm going to get some strings on it, get it set up today to play. Just so I can have a little play with it, make sure I get the intonation right, which I absolutely know the intonation is going to be right on this now. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be the end of part 2 of a video, and when I come to all the finishing and everything, I mean, there's a few things, just before I move on to that. These routs here were done by a butcher, weren't they? You know, I'm not touching these. I'll let the owner know that's there. It's really sad to see stuff like that. And again here, the rout in here, it's really sad to see this stuff out. It's just been hacked away, and down here it's just been hacked at. You know, and it's really sad for me to see. But it's all going to be covered up. So, you know, out of sight, out of mind. But end of the day, I've done my part of a job. I've done my job, you know, up to my standard. And like I said, I'm going to get it set up today. of the next video, in video 3, this will be the final part of this video, video 2. I'm going to post this on tonight so the owner can see what we've done with the guitar. It's not all doom and gloom with this guitar. It's going to play, it's going to look brilliant, and it's going to play absolutely, in fact it can play better than it's ever played since he's had it, and he's had it 37 odd year. So it's going to be absolutely brilliant. It's going to be absolutely chuffed with it when he gets it back. We ain't had to alter anything that the eye doesn't see, which is a good thing. All we've done is, the main thing we've done is move that bridge back. Once you've got a stain in there, you won't know it's been touched. And that's what I'm all about, getting guitars playable. So I'm going to wrap up part 2 of this video right now. I'm going to come back in part 3. I'll come back, hopefully we'll have the guitar built up, or at least be in a position to be built up, and we can give a little demo, and we can give a little appraisal of what we think, what work we've done, and what we think of it now. And I know for a fact it's going to be absolutely brilliant when it's done. It's going to play better than it's ever played in its whole life, I imagine. And the owner's going to be really, really pleased with it. So until then, be good to each other. I'll talk to you soon.